Herman Mashaba in 2024. Viva! Viva! Thank you very much. I'm handing over to the President.
Dumelang Tembisa, dumelang Ekurhuleni. Thank you so much, people of Ekurhuleni, for inviting me to launch our registration campaign here in your neighborhood. It's really something that I deeply appreciate. Just to really share with you, tell me, do you guys know why we want people to register to vote? Is it because we want ActionSA members? No, we are not here to get people to register to vote so that ActionSA can grow. We want people to register to vote so that we can save South Africa. Amen. This is about our country. We're on a verge of collapse. We're on a verge of becoming a failed state. So this project is not about Herman Mashaba, it's not about ActionSA, it's about saving South Africa. It's about saving South Africa when our constitution is still in place. Next year's election, colleagues, if we fail to remove the governing party from government next year, we can as much kiss our country goodbye. Zimbabwe will be like a Sunday school picnic. I don't know where you guys are going to run to. Now as Herman Mashaba, I have nowhere to run to. It is for that reason I'm working so hard. I started at 7 o'clock, already I was in Pretoria, in Tshwane, engaging the residents of Tshwane. I'm here. We need to save this country because South Africa cannot survive past 2024 with this current government. So the work that you and I are doing, it's a life and death situation. If we fail to remove this government in 2024, as I say, Zimbabwe will be like a Sunday school picnic. South Africa will be another failed African country. But I'm encouraged, I'm inspired to see you guys coming out, people of Tembisa and some of the areas, to say, not in our name, we are going to do everything possible to encourage and inspire South Africans to register with the IEC, so that come 2024, we have the biggest turnover since 1994. That is what is going to save South Africa. This is what's going to save Tembisa. That is what's going to save Ekurhuleni. You can ban our clinics, you can ban as many tires as you want. If you are not going to vote, this country is gone. Our people were not voting. If you look at the voting pattern the last few years, our people have been staying away from voting, particularly our black people, because obviously this government has deprived them of good quality education for them to really be able to understand the power of democracy. So you and I, the next 3 hours, we are going to go from house to house, not in the streets. Yes, we're going to be in the streets, those we find in the streets. If someone says they are registered, let's check them if they are properly registered. Let's go house to house, make sure that people are registered with the IEC. Takes what, 5 minutes on a phone to register people with the IEC. Yes, you can register with ActionSA afterwards if they are interested. What is more important is to get them to register with the IEC, because the 18 million or so, 25 million South Africans who've stayed away from voting, they've stayed away from voting because they are no longer interested in politics. They don't believe there's an alternative. Now we've got to tell them as ActionSA that we're that alternative that they've been waiting for. We've just come out of our very successful, historic policy conference. And I trust and I hope that all of you know some of our policies. Our policies to deal fighting crime. We're a country where 80 people are being murdered every single day. We can't live in a country like that where 80 people are being murdered every single day when we have government. So you and I cannot accept that. We have a country where 80% of public schools are dysfunctional. I can tell you, here in Tembisa, Banabarona right now, they're writing matric. 80% of public schools are dysfunctional. We just heard the other day, Wednesday, Minister of Finance, because South Africa is running out of cash. Now what they've done, they've reduced funding the ECD centers. ECD centers at the time when studies have been done for 10-year-olds, 80% of 10-year-olds in this country cannot read for meaning. So our kids can read in any language. They don't understand what they're reading about. So, I mean, as a country, as a normal country that wanted to see our people progress, we should be spending more money, investing more money to make sure that ECD centers, early childhood development centers, this is where education starts. This government, what they do, they reduce education, I mean their funding, on funding such an important project. And the reason why our schools are not working, because they've allowed SATU to control education of our children. Under ActionSA, we are going to have one Department of Education, and that one Department of Education is going to decide who becomes the principal of a school here in Tembisa, not the unions. Not the unions. We are going to make sure that we bring back school inspectors. School inspectors that must every day go from one school to the other. They don't need any union permission. They must go and make sure that school principals and teachers, they do what they are meant to really do. We are going to invest in our police. Our police, men and women, are not going to be led by criminals. The leadership of our police must be men and women of integrity. Our prosecuting authority must be run by men and women of integrity. South Africa is not going to be a country where it's a playground of illegal foreign nationals. South Africa is not going to be a playground of... South Africa was built at the back of migrants, and we must continue as South Africa to invite people of the world to come here, but they must come here legally, and when they're here, they must respect our laws. We are not going to allow the nonsense that's happening here in Primrose with a Nigerian guy hijacking people's homes. We are not going to allow it. We are not going to allow spaza shops being run by people who we don't know who they are. We are not going to allow anyone selling rotten, expired goods in our communities. That is not going to happen. Anyone who's in this country, they must be here legally, and when they're here, they must respect our laws. So ActionSA is not going to hesitate. Those who don't have papers to be in South Africa, we are going to deport them. ActionSA is unapologetic. We are going to do review of all the foreign nationals who have got South African identity document. Those who acquire South African citizenship fraudulently, we are going to revoke those status, and we want to send them back to their countries. And I want to appeal, and I make this appeal all the time to our women in particular. Please, you make babies with these people, and they are here illegally. Please, don't vote for ActionSA and then we must have mercy on your husband. I'm telling you, even if you have 10 Pakistan or Bangladesh. No, you can go to Bangladesh or whatever country. So ActionSA are voted for you in government. Please have mercy on our husband. We cannot be selective on policies. Once we're a government, we have laws of the country. We must respect the laws. We cannot allow anyone to go around throwing papers and says, no, you can get away with it. We must make sure that bylaws are respected. We cannot live in this filth that we see all over in our countries. So these are the reasons why we want South Africans to vote, so that we can democratically remove this government that has really betrayed us over the last 30 years. I personally feel betrayed by this government. It is for that reason I'm working 14 days a week. I'm working 48 hours a day to make sure that we can democratically remove this government. But the only way we can remove this government is to make sure that people are registered with the IEC. So, fellow Ekurhulenis, we've got a huge challenge ahead of us. But fortunate enough, it's possible. You know, before the 2021 elections, you know what they said about Ekurhuleni and the ActionSA Mashaba? You know what they said about it? About ActionSA Mashaba? Ekurhuleni, they said there's no way. They said if ever the ActionSA performer, the most they will get is 3 councillors in the city of Johannesburg. Ekurhuleni and Tshwane, they said forget, they are wasting their time. You know how many councillors we've got in the city of Johannesburg? 44. 44 councillors. You know how many councillors we've got in Tshwane? 19. You know how many councillors we've got here in Ekurhuleni where we said we'll get nothing? We've got 15. And you can look at this document. We've already participated in almost 8 by-elections. We are the only party that has demonstrated the ability to unseat the current government. No other party. We've been unapologetic, and we must not be apologetic on our mission, is to democratically remove this government so that we can bring in an ethical government that must be held accountable. And for us as ActionSA, we mustn't think we will replace this current government by another corrupt ActionSA. There's one thing that all of us are here. Please, I really hope and pray that you are not here to make friends with anyone. We are here to work for our country and the future of our children. We are not here for friendship. We are not here to make friends. We are here to save our country. You know what will happen when you are committed to working for your country and do the right things? Real friendship will develop. That's a kind of friendship that Herman Mashaba wants. I don't want any other relationship. Now, as Herman Mashaba, I want to commit to you as the leader of this party for now. I'm not here to cover for anyone. I'm not going to cover for any nonsense. And at the same time, I want you to hold me on the same standard. Please don't cover for me. If Herman Mashaba messes up, please call him to order. So what we do, when we can operate on those bases of not covering for one another, you know what great nation we will produce. 20, 30 years down the line, in every street, in every community, in every village, here in Tembisa, we'll start seeing engineers coming out of Tembisa. We'll start seeing doctors coming out of Tembisa. We'll start seeing architects, we'll start seeing engineers, doctors, judges coming out of Tembisa. It is highly possible, but it can only be possible if you and I can ensure, as our provincial chairperson has indicated, we want a minimum of 1,000 people registered between now and the next 3 hours. That's what we must focus on. We are not here to sing. Yes, singing is part and parcel of our DNA. It gives us, the motivation to do. But we are not going to focus on singing. We are going to focus on talking to people, convincing them why they must register. Because the registering is not about us, it's about them. Because if you want to sell someone, like you sell any product to anyone, because now I'm a salesman, I'm a trader, the only way I succeed in selling to people, I don't sell them, people expect to sell the product because it suits me. I sell people so that it is about them. Because that vote is about them and their families and their neighborhood. It's not about ActionSA. So that's what we need to go and sell. And I strongly believe that we're going to do it. You guys did it in 2021. You produced 19 councillors in the city of Ekurhuleni with no resources, with COVID. Now you can imagine, look at us. We can join together, we can campaign without having any fear of contracting or having the fear of COVID. So let's go out there and use our God-given voices to go and convince our people to join us on our project of saving South Africa come 2021, because this is our last opportunity. So I hope to see you back. I'm sure that so you'll tell us the program, how it's going to work and what time we're going to meet back here. And every group, I believe we are going to be split in different groups. Every group is going to be held accountable to the numbers, real numbers of how many people they've registered, because people are ready to be registered. South Africans are positive people. Look at what happened to our rugby. Here's a great example. I can tell you the success of the Springbok. It's a God-given sign to us as South Africans, says, please don't give up. And I'm sure you've all listened to Sia. You've all listened to Sia the last few days. He's sending a message to all of us South Africans, let's not give up on our country. So let's go out there, colleagues, and make it for our children. Thank you so much. I will see you back in 3 hours when we get back. Thank you so much.